Yeah, pyromancy, all those sort of mancy words refer specifically to telling the future.
So what, you're going to... I predict the future and there will be fire! Bam!
Well, no, so it's the first part is like your method. Necromancy it's not like D&D necromancy, raising zombies to fight for you. It's asking the dead, like learning information from the dead.
In terms of ways to predict the future, surely the worst people to ask are dead people, because they only know about the past.
Yeah.
And best
Rookie
case,
error.
the worst decision they made probably led to their death.
That's a bit awkward,
So
yeah.
they can't give you advice.
They're not going to want to talk about it. They're going to be really embarrassed.
Exactly. They're going to be like, yeah, well, I get, like, my only advice to give is don't try and lob an anvil into the air and then stand underneath it.
Yeah, don't try and catch an anvil, yeah. Should we start calling ourselves necromancers instead of podcasters? Not because I think that we contact the dead on this show, but just because I think it's a cooler title, right?
Is there a kind of mancy where you can get it off the airwaves, off the air around
Like
you?
Technomancy?
Or we could be technomancers, yeah. Or could we be like airbenders? Because we sort of push air into our listeners' ears.
And then we are the last airbenders. No more podcasts. We're the only one left. You have to listen to us.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of a little show we like to do here at the weekends, or as you call it, Thursday. Is of course Boy Review, hosted by me, Hamish.
And me, Wilkie. Now, Hamish, you say Thursday.
Okay, yeah, the last episode came out earlier today. I will admit, there was some poor planning on my part, but it came out eventually.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Now, Wilkie.
Hamish, shoot.
In the cold open talk spiel before we start the show,
Yeah.
you talked about how rubbing yourself in peanut butter would be a weapon of Sophie destruction.
I did. Yes. I really hope you kept that in now, because otherwise that's going to seem really sus. Yeah.
What would be a weapon of Wilkie destruction? Like, what would be a thing? Not of killing everybody, just killing you.
Me specifically. Well, the first thing that springs to mind, I don't like spiders, right? But that's also a fairly common fear, like specifically the sort of unpredictable movements, the sort of strange anatomy skeeves me out a bit, but that I don't think that's specific enough, right? Because that would get, that would get a few people. That's like an area of affectability, right? That's going to get a few people, whoever can see it. One thing that I really struggle with is my hair, right? My hair is very long. Well, not very long. My hair is quite long and getting longer. And one thing I struggle with is that, did you know that hair like falls out, right? When it's done growing, it'll fall out. It's like fruit. It gets like ripe and then drops.
Is hair human fruit?
Yes.
Oh, is that why like hair like potions in fantasy use hair? It's using the fruit of a person.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a regular recipe.
Easy. Look, you can if
that
you
makes
don't,
so much sense.
If you don't have homegrown hair, store bought is fine. Except it'll be for a different person, so it won't really work. But the thing that I struggle with is that so your hair falls out just because like to replenish it to grow new hairs and stuff. The problem is that my hair is so thick and like dense. I have very dense hair that hair doesn't fall out. It just gets caught up in the rest of the hair. So I'll run my hand through my hair and like it'll look like I'm just pulling clumps of hair off my head because like it's all got caught and stuck. So when I have to comb my hair and like get all the loose bits out.
Yeah, you need a hairbrush, Wilkie. That sounds like that would be a solution to your problem.
I do. I've got a hairbrush. So I feel like if there was something that would like bring all of my missing hair and like throw it at me.
Okay, like a giant hairball.
Yeah, that just like pursued me for. We're back on the snail thing, right? All the
a
hair,
giant hairball that pursues you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, so all the hair that falls on my head gets absorbed into this hairball, and the hairball rolls after me like the boulder from Indiana Jones. And one day I will be crushed by it.
See, I feel like then the strategy there would just be shave your head, because that hair hasn't fallen out. That's purposefully been cut off. And then just keep shaving your hair. And then that hairball will only be a certain size. And then you've won.
And then I've won. Put the hairball in a box.
You've avoided death.
And I live forever.
Yeah, send it off into space. How's it going to get back? It's just a ball of hair.
Hambo, have you seen adverts or heard adverts for Manscaped?
I have seen and heard of adverts for Manscaped. Yes, the product that we're not going to talk about too much because they're not paying us. And I heard they pay podcasters to talk about their products. But yes, what they call themselves the number one in below the belt hair grooming, and they talk about they've got like a lawnmower, which okay,
that's it. It's the title, it's the names of their products that really get me.
The lawnmower, because there's got to be somebody out there that thought like, I can save money. I don't need to get this one. I'm going to get a better lawnmower, and then it's just gone horribly, horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh no! Oh god! So yeah, they have the lawnmower. They're on lawnmower version 3 right now. Skin safe electric trimmer. Then there's the weed whacker that goes in your nose, and then crop preserver and crop reviver.
Yeah, they've kind of fudged their metaphors, because on the one hand, like they're pretending it's like a lawn, and a weed whacker makes sense, but then crop. Suddenly you're on a farm.
Suddenly you want things to grow. Hey, look, pal, do you want things to grow or not? What's the deal? I don't know why I sort of went into that character there, but like, it's very confusing. If they want to pay us, though,
we'll pretend that it's really easy. As I've said, we will go to any means.
We really will. We'll read any ad copy. We'll read it properly. We won't do bits over it like other podcasters do. We'll just send us an hour of ad copy, and we'll just read out adverts for an hour, and that'll be the episode for that week. And look, we're happy. We're happy either way. It genuinely sounds like they make good products. Like I don't think they could say the things they did if they weren't at least true.
No, that's right. You can't just lie.
We do.
We consistently lie. I think one of our podcast episodes was we lie for funnies, or at least that was in the thumbnail.
Yeah,
because podcasters, they don't have to tell you the truth. We're not scientists. We're not professors. We're just people.
We're just
with a microphone.
Two boys with fairly similar opinions about most things.
So, Wilkie, if I was going to have a weapon of Hamish destruction, I think mine would be this little gremlin that follows me around, and just whenever I'm feeling good, just reminds me of something that I did in the past that makes me really cringe.
Oh, so you mean just your own brain? You've already got that.
My own brain, but just turned up to 22, not to 11, twice that.
Oh my god, that's incredibly extreme.
It would just ruin my life, and I think that would be a complete weapon of Hamish destruction. I'd be done, because it's the worst feeling in the world when you're riding high, and then suddenly someone's like, "Hey, do you remember that time when you were 8 and you did that weird thing in the game Stuck in the Mud?"
Yeah, I have such a clear sense of this. So yeah, I get this sometimes. So I've got a hangnail. I'm just going to deal with this hangnail while I talk.
It's like a drop bear.
Yeah. So I get this sensation fairly regularly, about once or twice a day. Just this memory will come back to me. And when I say this memory, I mean this one singular memory returns to me.
Okay.
Because I think it was quite cringy in the moment, right? It's quite embarrassing, quite awkward. And then I was very soon after that made aware of this sensation that you're describing, this like suddenly a memory will come back to you that like ruins the moment, and then I just connected the two, and so now it just happens to me. So
whenever you have that feeling for another memory, the other memory comes back.
It's an infinitely looping process. And also, whenever something cringy happens to me, I think, oh man, maybe this will replace the other cringy memory. Oh god, the cringy memory. And it comes back to me again. So this was when I must have been in year 8, I think. I was at a school in between schools, because I'd left primary school and was waiting to take the exams to go into the secondary school I ended up going to. And I say I must have been in year 8 because year 8's had a common room. There was just, it wasn't anything especially fancy.
It's not an uncommon room.
It was a fairly common room. It was like a basement room in one of the like administrative buildings. There was a kettle, and like at break times they would put out like a packet of biscuits and some juice, I think, or some squash. And we some of us would hang out there. There were sofas.
That sounds good, Wilkie. I've got to say, a kettle, juice, biscuits. What more do you need in life?
What more?
Just combine those three things, you have a rocket.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever put the juice in the kettle?
I think someone must have. I don't have a specific memory of that happening, but someone must have. What would happen
if you put orange juice in a kettle? You just boil it.
You probably just get boiling orange juice. You ever have hot Ribena? You make Ribena with hot water.
Yeah, when people make squash with hot water, I have had it. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like it. Squash is cold. Every food stuff can either be eaten hot or cold. You can't eat foodstuffs both. Okay,
well we can return to that because that's very interesting. I want to return to that. But the best thing about this room was that it was pretty far away from like most other bits of the school. Right, there was the school nurse was just down the corridor, and a lot of the boarding houses. But like during school hours, all the teachers were over by like the other half of the school, like bit further away where the classrooms were.
I see where this is going. So you've got free reign.
Yeah, there was a bit of a lack of oversight. And so things would happen. I say things as if it's really ominous. Most of the time, things wouldn't happen. But on this one occasion, two of the sort of slightly rowdier, slightly sportier kids got into just a proper fight. Just like, and there's the what some people might call a cat fight, right? Like the fight that people might picture when they imagine girls fighting, which is very based on like hair pulling and throwing people around. That was what they were doing, right?
Okay.
They were pulling each other's hair and scratching each other. And someone got like thrown behind a sofa, and that was the end of it.
Did one of them pull out a whoa? Okay, I was about to make a joke about did one of them pull out a like clump of hair and it came to life and chased them down, but you just said a thing about before I could finish that. Someone got thrown behind a sofa?
Yeah, so the sofa, there was like gaps between the sofas and the walls, and the guy just got like pushed back over the back of the sofa and just like did a tumble.
I had an image just like they're just like sort of slapping at each other and then just grab them like Bane style over rather than dropping on the knee, just yeet forwards.
Not quite like over the head, but just like a shove that like sent them toppling over the back of it, and that was sort of them done. And I remember being terrified, right? I was hiding during this. I was hiding behind. I had an armchair. I've always got an armchair. That's my bit. There was a chair.
Did you bring this to school as well? Was it just the one that was there and you were like, this is my chair now?
I think on one occasion I rather loudly farted while sitting in it, and it became mine. Like, the smell did not linger, but that chair then became... And I was like, sick, I've got guaranteed seating in the common room.
See, I feel like that's just like, you know what? Everyone farts, and I've done the best fart I can do.
And I have earned a chair for my prowess. So yeah, I'm hiding behind my chair during this, and I get out of there and I go to my classes. Near the end of the day, I see another year 8 guy called Will, who hadn't been there.
Okay.
And so I run up to him. I'm like, oh, mate, Will, did you... And I'm about to say, did you hear about the fight, right? Or did you hear about... I can't remember what their names were, but like, did you hear about these two? They had a fight. And then I clock the person standing next to Will, who I had just assumed was just a person. It's Will's dad. I'm like, that's an adult. That's a grown-up.
Yeah.
There are multiple reasons why I can't mention two students fighting in front of this guy.
Well, one parent, I assume, is Will's dad also a teacher at the school?
No, but like...
Okay,
but
Will's dad's a narc then. Will's dad's gonna hear about students fighting and is gonna tell the school.
I can only assume I want to play it safe. Will sort of came from a fairly much more middle class background, you know, similar to mine than some other students at the school. So I imagine that he'd be very sort of like, again, this is an in the moment, like I am.
Your brain has like fired through all of these. You were on set to tell Will about the fight, and then your brain has gone, I can't.
Yeah.
Will's dad will dob them both in, and it will come back to me.
Handbrake turn. So I just stop, right? I run through all the options in my head. I think of like the other connections I have with Will, right? I share a French class with him. Like all these different sort of connections. We're both on the cricket team, and my brain just throws them all away. All these ideas that I had for how to continue this sentence, right? I'm a creative guy. I ended up doing improv at uni. I could have redirected the flow of this conversation anywhere, but I just stop dead in my tracks and just, hey, Will, did you... See ya. And just walk away.
In that brief moment, that was, if someone could see behind the eyes of Wilkie, it would just be like the Microsoft blue screen, like rebooting.
The blue screen is also on fire, and there's like little knees running around my head like, what do we do?
Pull out, pull out, pull out.
Pull out, just go, leave.
Run.
And I just remember saying, see ya, with a realistic voice crack, and just walking away again. Just walking away. And I was like, what am I doing? I was like, oh. The moment passed in slow-mo for me, but...
That's not too bad, Wilkie. I think you did the best possible thing you could do. Did those kids ever get caught?
I don't think so. I have no idea. But I can just picture him looking at me, just watching me go like, what? Because I went into it so excited, like I wanted to...
Did you then tell Will what happened afterwards as well?
No! I don't think I ever did.
Oh, no. Because see, I feel like the next thing, like just next day, see Will at school and be like, I was going to try and tell you about the really wicked cool fight that happened, but then I saw your dad was there, and so I just panicked because I thought your dad would be a narc and would just tell on everybody, and then I'd get in trouble, you'd get in trouble, we'd be hated. I'm not talking about this from my own experience, from personally Hamish on narking and it going horribly, horribly wrong.
Hamish, you sure?
No. Yeah, I'm not sure. So in my year, I'm trying to think. I don't know whether I was year 10 or year 11. It was I was doing my English GCSE. We'd had to, learn basically not learn, but we had to like write an essay on something. But I think it was one of those ones where it's not like an exam where you don't know what the question is, but it's going to be in a book. We knew what the question would be. We knew what everything would. And we'd just been developing an essay that we could then do in an assessment.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
And you're allowed to take like a sheet of paper. We had something similar for French when you did like speaking and writing exams. You'll take a sheet of paper with a couple of cues on it. So for French, it was always one or two words that you can remember what those are in the thing.
Yeah,
in English,
like little landmarks within your speech. Like you'd always forget where you went from paragraph 1 to paragraph 2, and you put like the first word to remind you, like, oh, I'm talking about the theatre now or something.
Yes, and for English, it was something similar. Particularly, like you're analysing a poem. Like, what were one or two key points that you wanted to talk about the poem? But you couldn't just write down your whole essay. I think there were word limits and there was a space limit as well. So you were very constricted. And then for this exam, we weren't in an exam hall. We were in different classrooms because it was the entire year 11 cohort. So that's like a 100 or so kids.
Too many people.
Across the whole school. Too many people. And like it's the middle of the year. Sports teachers already get angry that the sports hall is taken out for like a few months because of exams in the summer. They're not doing it in spring. No, that's prime badminton season. I don't know what but
was your school big on badminton?
I remember it was big on badminton for the kids that weren't so good at sport because it was a small court and a lot of the kids, it was just you could just get around quite easy. If the other person also wasn't particularly athletically capable, then you could just be nice to each other and you could just give some nice, easy high shots. You have time to text in between each go. Just like you lob it so high into the ceiling. Sometimes it gets lodged up there and it's stuck forever.
And then you're trapped.
That's the thing that always weirds me out. Whenever you go to certain like sports halls or anywhere they do sport, there's always just that weird one basketball that's lodged in such an odd place. You know what I mean? Where it's like lodged between the steel bar and the roof.
Yeah, or there's a dodgeball that is ever so slightly smaller than all the other dodgeballs, and it's clearly a different design. And it's like, did you lose one of the set and then just replace all of them so they all matched, or what?
So
like, it feels like a relic of an older time.
And it's the one that everyone wants to just avoid. I don't want the little one. I want the big one.
Yeah, and then you get it down eventually, and it becomes like the runt of the litter.
So the test, we were sat taking it. We were like a little bit apart. So I think there was like a chair either side of us, so we couldn't just copy who was next to us.
Obvious.
Though I noticed the kid next to me, because I accidentally touched it with my foot, had a book on the floor under his desk, and specifically it was his English book, and it was his entire essay just open on the floor, and he was just like, looking down because it was below him, so you could just look down and just copy out exactly what his essay was.
That is bonkers. Like why? Why do that? It's such an easy assessment anyway.
And then he noticed that I accidentally kicked it, and he did look me in the eye. Like I just kind of looked at him, and then he looked me in the eye, and I just sort of like in that moment went back to my essay, but it gnawed at me the fact that this kid had like cheated so blatantly in this exam for a GCSE.
I can imagine it would, because like, did he get away with it in the exam?
Yeah, I don't think he was caught at that time.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt, because like, you see someone breaking the rules that you're following, right? I'm sure like you could have done. I don't know how well you did, but I'm sure you probably could have done a little bit better if you'd had all of your notes available. Like there must have been things you missed out, even just a couple.
Yeah, I got an A in English, so I didn't do badly by any stretch. But it was one of those subjects though where getting the A was a lot of effort on my part. I didn't struggle at English, but it was definitely one that I had to work harder at compared to like at the time I was really awesome at maths and science, and I really like DT as well. So that
you're still really awesome at maths, Hamish.
And so in that moment, I was like just finished my exam, but it gnawed at me that this guy had cheated. And so eventually, after like a day or two, I went to my form tutor privately and was just like, this kid had his book on the floor. He cheated. I didn't know what to say, and I said it, and I thought that would be it. Whatever, the kid got caught, and I thought like, okay, well, I've got this guy in trouble a little bit. I think he just had to resit the exam. Thankfully, it didn't completely ruin his GCSE, because that could also happen. Like if you get caught cheating in one of your exams, that can like nullify loads of other coursework that you've done, because they don't know where you didn't cheat. Though it was all going fine. I thought like, no one knows I've done this. It should be fine. Until a couple of days, like at the end of the week, obviously it's been a couple of days. Everyone knows this guy was caught, and it's like, we don't know who told on him. Like it could just been it was noticed after the fact or something. It was like up in the air, like what happened. My school had this thing called commendations, where teachers could give you them for different reasons, and there were different levels. So like if you just did particularly well in homework, you might just get a class commendation. If you did something really awesome, you might get a house commendation. I think you got one of those for getting like 25 regular commendations. And then if you got so many house commendations, you got headmaster commendation. At the end of that week, I got a house commendation for the only description was upholding the school's values. And my form tutor was one of those people that was really proud. And like he'd given this to me because he was allowed to do this as like a form tutor. He was really proud whenever someone got commendations, and he would read them out every Friday and read out that week's commendation list and say like who did well and who should we celebrate. And so he read that one out, and suddenly all of the class's eyes just turned on me.
Oh,
I could feel them gaze, and just like, okay.
Oh, how?
And yeah, I became a social pariah at that point.
Oh, God.
A lot of my friends still liked me, but this guy hated me. I think for the rest of the year, he was on my desk for English as well. Like the teacher put us on the same desk, and he would just like, I could always feel him looking at me. Like there's eyes, and I got the commendation.
That is painful. Yeah, we had commendations at... Sorry, okay, I was about to move on, but oh, God. Upholding the school's values. That's...
Yeah, and hey, do you know what makes it even better?
What?
So, at the end of the year, each form can pick like a student where, this student did something pretty good from this form. Either maybe they had really good grades, or they just did something really good, and we just want to celebrate them at the end of the year.
Oh, God, I don't want to hear this.
And you get like a book voucher. Normally it's like £5 or £10 book voucher for Waterstones.
Oh, wonderful, a book voucher.
Yeah, it's still like a nice little thing, and you get a little certificate to say, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. I'm one of the cool kids. I was selected at the end of the year for that.
Oh my God.
Because I upheld the school's values. So my name got read out at the end of year assembly, like the big one.
That's so awkward.
It was good. I had fun.
I'm trying to think if I have a similar...
Well, if you didn't fuck up as badly as me, you don't have to pretend that everyone does this.
I don't think I fucked up badly. There are a couple of occasions where like I was mentioned in like we had chapel was where we'd have a big assembly where we'd all be in the chapel. A couple of times I was like mentioned for having done something like especially dorky that sort of got a bit of a chuckle from some of the sportier houses. Like there was a Shakespeare competition. You had to perform a monologue from Shakespeare, like make a video of you doing it. And so I did Oberon's speech from Midsummer Night's Dream. I know a bank where the wild thyme grows, where ox slips and the nodding violet blows. And it's longer than that, but that's what it is.
Okay, I'd have fully loved it if that was, you just did that. You just did like the shortest speech you can find in Shakespeare.
Yeah, no, it's actually only 2 lines.
Like it's a 5-minute video, but it's all just like establishing shots in forests.
Well, no, it's funny you say that. When I did it, I performed. I took a camera and a tripod into the woods near my house, and I recorded, I think 4 or 5 different versions of the same speech, standing in different places. So one I was standing directly in front of the camera, and one I was like a little bit off to the side behind it, like halfway behind a tree, and then
very artsy.
And I cut them together, so it was like I was like teleporting between the trees, like a cool forest spirit.
That sounds really cool, actually.
And so that whole video got played out in chat. And you know how yeah, on the big screen, it was
Oh, that's so good.
I get this with this show sometimes. Like my voice is not as deep as I think it is, obviously, because your own voice resonates around your skull and gets a little bit deeper. So your voice is never as deep as you think it is. You're never as cool as you think you are, and you only realize it when it's too late. And it was a bit awkward. Also, winning Latin speaking competitions was something that would get announced that I was never especially proud of.
How do they test you on speaking Latin? Like no one knows how it sounded. So how do they like test you on it? Do they go back in time? Is that where all the time machines are?
Yeah, it's kind of awkward, but like there's not much anyone can do. Basically, there was this whole thing a few decades ago now, back when like Latin was sort of the like introduced into like the actual, well, not the national curriculum, but like companies like AQA and EdXL were like creating curriculums for Latin to make sure that they could be completely fair. And yeah, they had a deal with the government, and it was worded like no one checked the wording properly. Well, not no one, but the people who are important didn't check the wording properly. And yeah, classics departments have sole ownership of all time machines, and it's really awkward because like scientists and historians would love to go and look at the past and stuff, but they just simply can't. Classics departments are far too litigious. They will not allow it.
Yeah, it's just not fair, you know? Yeah, we want to find out what dinosaurs look like. Did they have feathers? Did they have cool roars?
Were they really fat?
Were they really fat? Maybe dinosaurs were really fat. Maybe they had like, T-Rexes are known for having tiny hands. Maybe their hands were the biggest part of them and everything else was teeny tiny.
Maybe.
We'll never find out. Steven Spielberg tried to take a classics degree at a university because he wanted to find out like how to make Jurassic Park, but it went wrong.
They discovered him.
Yeah,
they found out his plan
just before he could travel back in time.
He got dobbed in by one of his mates, and that guy got a commendation for upholding the department's values.
Yeah.
You hate to see it.
On the one part of me would do it again. Other part of me maybe wouldn't. It meant that I didn't get invited to the first party of Sixth Form, and so it meant that was instantly there's this whole new group of people. I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, they've immediately got that whole cultural touchstone to draw upon. I haven't been to as many house parties as like TV shows led me to believe. Like house parties aren't a thing.
House parties aren't fun. I went because house parties seem almost entirely pointless because not pointless. If it's a house party of just like a small gathering of your friends, makes sense because you can meet and mingle. If it's a house party with a bunch of people that don't know each other, they don't want to socialize if it's outside the first like 2, maybe 3 weeks of uni.
Yeah.
I tried to go to one of my housemates in second year wanted us all to go to a couple of house parties in end of second throughout the second year, and every time we went, it was a bad idea. Like, just no one wanted to talk to us. Everyone just it was a big group of people just all wanting to talk to each other, and it's not like a club, so you can't go and get alcohol easily. There's no good DJ. It's just some guy with a Spotify playlist.
Yeah,
there's nothing good about it. It's all the bad parts of a club and none of the fun parts of it in return.
The image of a house party in like a teen TV show is like the image I had in my head is like someone putting up posters, right? And like the entire school is invited apart from like the main character, who like a small list of people who aren't invited.
Yeah,
and yeah, like those big events, right, where you just invite, you know, your entire department, you invite, you know, friends of friends of friends. It's not fun, and I don't know. I'm not even. I started off kind of angry about it, but I'm not really angry about it because yeah, like a house party in the way that like media portrays them, they're not fun. Like you said, like no one knows you, but like yeah, small gatherings. Like I feel like some of our best nights out were plausibly in like that room on campus. What is it, like 0.69 somewhere in the social sciences building?
Shh, we can't talk about it. Future generations won't be able to find the room on campuses that aren't locked.
Yeah,
break in
that's
and hang
the trick.
Because like humanities was always a go-to, and then they got wise to people's ways.
Like things that were called house parties, like the guest list was always sort of highly curated to make sure everyone would have a good time. If there were different groups of people, there was always someone to bridge the gap. Like I was there to bridge the gap between like some of the more disparate members of Panto Society and Improv Society, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think though, you know, there's a lot like house parties. The good ones, what they are, they're so different from what they are in film. But that's fine. Like the ones in film, I think we can say like in reality they aren't that good. They're like bad.
Maybe good bad, because like they're
good.
People
bad.
must have fun at that sort of house party, like even if it's scripted. But like mostly it's gonna be hit and miss, and it's gonna be mostly miss.
Whereas like house parties where you curate the guest list, you just have the people around you want to hang out with. There's a good. You get it. You just get everyone is happy. Everyone has a great time.
I think you got to be more chill about it, right? Because if you hold this like big event, right? Like me, I'm the richest kid in school. My parents are out of town. I'm gonna invite the whole school to my house, and we're gonna have a house party. Apart from those dweebs over there, and then like that's the inciting incident, whatever. You got to be more chill because you're putting so much expectation on yourself. You can't win. But if you just have a chill little event, you put on a Spotify playlist, bring your own bottle. You know, those things as well. Like, there's always like loads of like, oh, my parents have a big alcohol cabinet. Like, yeah, you're gonna get through that in 5 minutes, mate. You're gonna have to like get people to bring their own stuff, or you'll be drowning in it.
After all of that, I think we can safely say that doing the right thing and upholding the school's values, it's good. You have to do it. I don't know. I don't actually know what it is.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about like doing the right thing is good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but by definition, doing the right thing is good. You might as well say doing the good thing. But then if you're talking about like dobbing someone in, is that good? Is it bad good? Like, is it like bittersweet?
Is it good bad? Yeah. Because it's you know, do you want, I guess it depends. What's the crime? Who's going to get in trouble? Was it victimless?
Yeah, like the cheating example. How would you have felt if that kid had been like disqualified from all his GCSEs, had to take an extra year to retake them next year?
Oh, I think I'd be made aware of how I should feel by everybody in the school. Yeah,
because that's not good, right? Like,
yeah. Also, like, he did something wrong. Like, I still stand by the fact, like, he shouldn't have cheated. I don't know, Wilkie. I think this is a moral question. I want to get back to like what temperature food should be. That was more fun. I want to go to the fun place.
What was the thing you were arguing?
So I was saying that food should either be hot or cold.
What was the specific food we were talking about? It wasn't soup. I was going to bring up...
Oh, we were talking about boiling juice. Oh, Ribena.
Yeah.
Ribena. I just had to go back through the conversation in my head. So I said that like Ribena is squash. Yeah. Squash is cold. You can't have hot squash. Whereas cereal, that is also cold. You can't have hot cereal. Pasta, that's hot. You got to have hot pasta.
Okay. you can have. I think you can have hot squash, right? Because that's basically what lemsip is, right? Lemsip is hot lemon squash.
Bad. Lemsip's bad.
Lemsip may well be bad, Hamish, but you're avoiding the question.
It's got lemon in it. Bad. Alex isn't here to defend it anymore.
God, I've really got to be quicker on these things. I did not realise that was what you were doing there. Pasta absolutely can be served cold.
Okay, pasta might be one of those weird ones. I think
get like a pasta
pasta
salad.
Can be combined with things to make it cold servable.
True. I don't agree with you on food having a predetermined temperature, right? Obviously, food can be better at certain temperatures, but I don't think that's a necessity. The thing that food does have is a shape.
Oh yeah, food has temperature and shape. Food has both.
So
food does have a shape.
Soup, right? You're putting soup in a Tupperware bowl, right, to save it for tomorrow. What shape is a Tupperware bowl?
The Tupperware bowl has to have a circle involved.
Yeah, soup is circular.
Yeah, soup is circular, you know? It preferably would be like a cylindrical thing, maybe with a rounded bottom, but you can't put soup in like a square box. If you're doing that, you're going against the values of soup.
Yeah, and you're not going to get a commendation. Yeah.
You are not upholding the school's values if you put soup in a square Tupperware box.
Here at Soup Academy, we're just creating another Disney original film here. This is the like
we are
a Disney original film about a wild maverick kid who he's acting out at high school, right? And so his parents send him to culinary school to like learn discipline, and he starts just chopping and screwing everything, and it turns out that his like wild side was what, you know, he's just creative, and you know he's actually a master chef, and he goes on to win MasterChef, and Gordon Ramsay says like, you know what, that's lovely, I love that.
But the thing is, at the school they only make soup. That's why it's Soup Academy.
Yeah,
and
this
kid is coming in and he's introducing them to new kinds of food. Like, he comes in and he makes them a sandwich, and it's the first sandwich any of them have ever seen. Because there always has to be some stupid premise, like something is like, what the fuck do you mean you've never seen a sandwich before?
Yeah, like he like brings one in for lunch one day, and they're like, what is that? That must be for dipping in your soup. He's like, no, you just eat it normally. You can dip it in soup, like a grilled cheese in soup. Is that grilled cheese? How do you grill cheese?
What is a grill?
What's a grill? You ask it questions? you
interrogate it?
You interrogate the cheese? I don't understand. You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice?
That's insane.
I
didn't know Chef had such culinary schools. Why are there more shrimp at this school?
And then the whole film shifts and it becomes about getting shrimp into culinary school.
That's the sequel to Finding Nemo 2.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo 2 hasn't happened yet, but when it does, there's a sequel.
The sequel to, so not the threequel to Finding Nemo, it's the sequel to Finding Nemo 2. So it's Finding Nemo 2.
Yes. Finding Nemo Too Fast, Too Fishious.
Too Fast, Too Fishious. Apartment complex. I find it quite simple, actually. I love
this. Okay, that's a meme now. That's a...
No, this is a meme.
Is that from TikTok or?
It's one of those like alignment triangle memes that like one of the famous ones is like the kids at the back of the car are chanting like McDonald's, and does the character either join in, tell them they've got McDonald's at home, or drive to McDonald's but order a single black coffee and leave. I think it's from a John Mulaney sketch, I think, about his dad.
Oh, that'd be so good. I think the power move is to go to McDonald's, buy a single black coffee and leave. Because also the beauty of that is no one likes black coffee.
No, not even you, but you're doing it for the power move.
You're going to hold it you're going to hold your window out the car, your window out the car. You're going to hold your hand out the window of your car, and just as you're driving along, just turn the black coffee over and just watch it pour.
Yeah, onto
the kids will have their face to the window and they'll just see it go by.
No. You know, McDonald's black coffee is better than no McDonald's at all, and they're like, no, don't throw it away. But yeah, this one was like an alignment triangle for like stupid characters, and so one of them is like apartment complex. I find it quite simple actually, and then the other one was like, shrimp fried this rice, and the third one was based on what? I use that one quite a lot.
Wait, how often do you use based?
I don't know. I don't say based when like someone else will say based, and I'll be like, based on what? And they're like,
But
and
how often does someone say like? I assume you mean like baste a chicken. How often is someone saying baste a chicken in your life, Wilkie?
no, that's not what I'm saying. BAS.
Oh, it's chicken based.
Where's chicken come from?
It's chicken based. So you have chicken based meals.
Yeah, like that sort of based. Like it's slang. It means good. I'm going on Urban Dictionary. Hambo, you've driven me to Urban Dictionary.
The place that no one on the internet wants to go.
Right, I found it. A word used when you agree with something or when you recognize someone for being themselves, courageous and unique, or not caring what others think. Hambo, when you told your form teacher about that guy who cheated, that was based.
Oh, thanks, Wilkie. That's really nice. Thank you for being so supportive of me. But I'm also going to say based is bad. It's a dumb term.
That's a bit harsh.
It's not good. Based is not base.
Oh, that's meta. Well, folks, this has been a based episode of Boy Review, if I do say so myself.
I see, Wookie. I thought it was quite a good one.
I would like to thank you all for listening. If you're listening on a podcast app, please make sure to give us a review. There should be a little review button somewhere. Leave us 5 stars if possible. If you want to leave us some constructive feedback, you can do it via that, I suppose. Or we have we don't have a Twitter page, but we have a Twitter hashtag that I keep track of. So if you want to use the hashtag #BoyReview, I will see that and I will bring up your tweet on the show. If you would like to get our podcasts elsewhere, we also have a YouTube channel where we post videos featuring the episode with some cool graphics made by Hamish, and we also have a Twitch channel. Hamish, do you want to tell people about the Twitch, because you've been doing most of it?
We currently do 7:30 till 9:30 around that time on a Wednesday. I stream with our friend Alex, who's Lola Lily 101 on Twitch, so you can check that out. There's a link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or you can just go to twitch.tv/boyreview.
I think that is going to do it for us this week. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me. Okay, I'm gonna cringe so much tonight. This has brought back so many memories of things that I've done in my past.
Yes, let the cringe flow through you.